Counter-Strike fans around the world rejoice. Premier CSGO has returned, and with it, ESL Pro League Season 6. I'm Chad Sponge Birchall, and I'm joined by Janko YNK Paunovic and Natu. Let's try this, Juna Leppinen. Did I get that right? Is that close enough?
We'll give you a pass on that one.
All right, I tried. But we are coming to you live from the Intel Esports Arena here in Copenhagen. And boys, how were the holidays?
Good. Apparently you became a host now.
Yeah, I changed roles.
You're already pronouncing my surname better than Alex, so...
I learned from Alex. We put him in the shop. Alex is in the shop. He'll be back soon, all right? I'm just temporary. I'm just here filling in while we're getting him fixed up. We needed to take him out, get him sorted.
But yeah, vacation was awesome. I mean, we all had some time off after a busy season, and it's going to be interesting now. You know, we are feeling refreshed, that's for sure, but it's questionable how the players are feeling. You know, it's always sketchy after a long break, not touching the mouse and the keyboard. So last year, after the break, we had some very interesting games, Chad. I'm sure you remember.
Yeah, last season was a bit of a roller coaster early on, and if we can actually take a look at the standings from last season and see how everything kind of panned out and how it went, we got the North American region here first, and there's no surprise to see SK at the top, Liquid, Immortals, you know, them in the top three, Cloud9 just scraping in the end, but
and the Australians going out.
Yeah, well, they were Australian and New Zealand, so let's not just put it all on Australia. So they're gone now. They've been relegated back to the homeland, I suppose. Russia and the Foundation, they're also out. Renegade's still somehow surviving.
Yeah, it was very, very close when you look at the scoreboard. I mean, Optic, the last place with 14 and 10, and then you had 3 teams below them with 13 and 11. So it was a very close affair for those spots at the LAN finals. Interesting changes in both regions during the player break. So it's going to be very, very exciting seeing how these teams fare off from the very beginning.
That's one way to put it, I guess. But we also have the European standings. And I know that, Natu, you had some things to say about online Counter-Strike to LAN Counter-Strike.
Look at this. North and G2 were the top 2 in the European division. The people say that online on LAN doesn't correlate at all. Somehow they were in the finals.
Yeah, G2 started 0-6, or they started something
like 0-8 or something ridiculous.
Very, very poor. So they went on a great run to secure a spot at the playoffs. And obviously the biggest surprises at the time were FaZe and Astralis not managing to qualify for the finals at all. So we'll see this time around. It feels like every season there has to be a team that kind of disappoints and doesn't secure a spot at those LAN playoffs. So maybe it's going to be different this time.
Yeah, and we lost Virtus Pro, right?
And the early parts of the season is always very important. You know, the people say, you know, the start of the season doesn't necessarily mean as much, but it's the same points going down the stretch, isn't it? Especially now when the teams do come off of a break, and there's a good opportunity for a lot of upsets to come into play as well.
Yeah, and then we did obviously have, you know, G2 versus North as the grand final. The big, I think, the G2 actually becoming the super team that we all thought they could be in that LAN event. They haven't really done a lot since then, but they were able to defeat SK in the semi-finals of that event. They played some good Counter-Strike.
Yeah, G2 unfortunately not doing much before or after that event. It seems to be the one premier event where they've actually managed to lift the trophy against SK. Yes, that was probably their biggest win of the tournament at the time, but it does seem that G2 just has a good style and a good track record versus SK. So all in all, it was a very important win for them. You felt like that would maybe give them the confidence coming into the big summer tournaments, but they did kind of fall flat after Pro League finals.
You saw like this brand of Counter-Strike right here, like falling running in like that with the AWP. SK weren't the team that they should have been. This is when they were having those teething issues, right, with Phelps, and they weren't quite at the point which we know them for now. So a few issues with SK, but still good to see G2 getting that win.
Yeah, SK for me at least is a team that I think has defined a lot of the characteristics of being very, very well built and to do a lot of things structured, even in situations where it's a lot about intuition, but they seem to be really on point with that.
This is when we had Jason going on the MBK train, right? He was saying MBK's back, you know, he's getting some big frags, but the big standout for me at the finals of that event was Body. Body was the one who he showed some star performances, with getting a lot of multi-frags, being a very good anchor for the team, and that even went through to the final when they took on North.
Yeah, I think the problem with G2 is that it's very inconsistent, right? As you point out, Body in that tournament was very, very strong. Yes, MBK had some good performances as well. It seems like Kenny S is back, at least to an extent. He's been having some great performances, but where's Shox? You know, Shox hasn't been playing on that superstar level.
Feels to me like I see a lot of occasions where they're overcompensating for kind of the mistakes they do on the CT sides on certain parts of the map. So you see them over-rotating in a lot of situations a lot of the time, which feels kind kind of weird considering how this lineup has been built.
Yeah, and you know, North in the grand final as well, we have to look at, they kind of had a bit of an easier run to get there. I suppose it was Liquid in the semi-final that they had to play, taking nothing away from Liquid. They've been looking fantastic in more recent times. But the thing with North is as well, they're one of those teams who we all expect to be up there. They just haven't reached their full potential.
I think it's a lot of factors, but I think one of them has to be like within the roles. And I feel like they just couldn't find the right balance in the terms of players like AZ, Mazix, and then Config especially, you know, who like to be more aggressive, maybe have a little bit more freedom, but obviously in a system you cannot have that going for them. So I feel like having that change come out now, picking up Valda in the lineup might be a better fit for this lineup.
I think for North, unfortunately, it's a matter of every time they had a challenge ahead of them, they would fall flat or even disappoint. You know, earlier in the year, in some of the playoff runs, they were the favorite in the matchup. They had some underdogs who were able to take them out. So I feel it's something that you mentioned, teams kind of overthinking things. They started to switch too much because they couldn't perform, especially on the CT side. And then you had Magisk kind of underperforming after being the best player on the team alongside Conflict. So hopefully now with this change, they feel kind of reinvigorated and they have a good game plan coming into this new season.
Well, in case you were living under a rock during the Season 5 finals, we actually have the top 5 players, in case you missed them, ready for you to go.
He doesn't want to get caught out from anyone down below. Wait. Got it. Now he goes back the direction he was a little bit scared of. Thanks for the money. Thanks for the kill and the humiliation. Much to the delight of everyone here in Dallas, as NBK is going to continue on. He'll take down the Chiss, hold the trigger, make it an ace with a knife. Is that possible? He's got a deal up. It is possible. It certainly is possible. He gets all 5 with a knife included for NBK.
Nice shots onto Nitro, and Sixer finds the pickup as well. So now he's brought it down to a 1v2. Is he going to realize that Twist is sitting right below, though? Might have spotted him there, but Twist just walks right into his crosshair. So now this is going down to a 1v1. Stanislaw having to clutch this. Now Sixer's been given the room to move up to the site and be able to go for the plant, but actually he might just look for the kill. He's got to react quickly, though, because Stanislaw's here and he's ready to fight. Wins the initial battle and he follows through.
And pays the ultimate sacrifice. Now Crims, though, again, XMS is his back turn. Crims, 3, 4, he teaches us how to count as he just knocks them down. That will be 16. He USPs them in the backside.
They're going to have a rough time here. First trying to get him towards the bomb site. Boosts himself up. Fallen strikes first. Takes down Apex.
Good pick to find on the AWP. They've got 2 of them, so they have to find them early. Fallen seems to be missing the second shot on occasion. And the problem is, there's no one in the site. They've already cleared with just 1 kill. A way back in. Good patience displayed from Fallen to find that one. He's got no patience anymore. He'll go hunting. Body goes down. One thing. Push behind Shocks. So they're on either side of each other, and Shocks is the one that comes out better off for it. Relays the information that Config's found. Just has made decent work of the situation, getting 3 kills. He needs to find all of them to win out the round. He's got 16 HP and a Tech 9 to do it. Body's lost track of him, though, so he could actually pick up another one. Body nearly evading him. Will go down. Position favors Shocks. Tech 9! Magisk from range! An ace clutch to pull it back. That's incredible.
Long range Tech 9, you love to see it, but G2 they're the eventual winners of Season 5 in Dallas, and you know, coming to Season 6, they could be a hot favorite. There's a few more teams that have been added or have worked their way up to the division. We got Godsent and the likes of Big coming into Season 6.
Yeah, I mean, Big, I guess, is the big story of the 2 teams going through in 6 months, how they've come a long way. Starting out in Leipzig, I believe it was, the first turn of the year. They seem like a decent team. I don't think anyone really thought with this kind of the lineup that they have, you know, everyone seems to be thinking that they're missing a few pieces to the puzzle. But I feel like they kind of showed off to everyone at the major, obviously. Mastering Inferno, beating everybody on it, and just having a nice game, just the way they approach the game, you know. You were one, Chad, to say how they were planting seeds to teams of how they like to play really slowly, but then they're up the tempo further down the stretch on that he has. And it just feels like, you know, they had such great performance from individuals on the lineup, but at the same time, having that kind of structure that Godby delivers, that's a deadly combination. I think it really worked. But now it's a different thing that having come to that point that they have right now, there's still a few steps to go ahead. And if they manage to take those, I think it's a bit of a different story.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think two very different teams in the style of play. Big an example of the resurgence of tactical Counter-Strike, right? And some of the firepower that they may be lacking, they're compensating with it with great team play. Godsend, on the other side of things, don't even have a full 5-man roster at the moment. Pitt will be filling in for Pro League at least. But, you know, you look at that team, it's obvious the team that has Twist on the lineup, Disco Doppler, right? Schneider as well, especially now with Dennis. There's a lot of firepower on the team. There's a lot of potential, but it was always the lack of leadership and, you know, structure, and it seemed like maybe there wasn't enough authority on the team with Pronex, yeah, and which is funny. You would expect the team to have some internal issues, but Pronex in his exit statement said that he never had as much fun playing with those guys as he had in any of his teams. So not really sure what was going on there, but you hope for Godsend to be able to find a stable roster, a fifth player that can be the leader and also can exert authority, because I don't really think Twist is the man for the job.
Yeah, I don't know how Twist is going to go as an in-game leader. I don't think there's anyone in the Swedish scene of the new generation who can be an in-game leader though at the moment. Like, we've seen Fnatic taking a risk with Golden from their academy team. That's a big risk in itself. So I think I agree with you. It's going to be a really interesting.
Just to touch slowly, it's not just a matter of whether you have the expertise. It's also you need to have the authority. You have someone like Golden, and he's supposed to tell Flasha and JW what to do. You know, sure, maybe in the beginning they're going to listen to him, but if things don't start working out, we saw it with coaches before. You know, players just don't putting enough faith into them, and then they can't really, you know, execute what they plan.
The good thing, well, Godsend actually defeated, they won the Mountain Dew League, right? Like the regular season, they won that little playoff bracket. That's how they made it into the Pro League Season 6. And then you have Big, who had to, you know, defeat a lot of teams in relegation to make it through. And those teams were, you know, they had to beat VP, Hellraisers, and Penta. Those were the 4 teams in the relegation, right? So we don't have VP, we don't have Penta, but Hellraisers, they were actually able to hang on to their spot, and they're back in the division as well.
Yeah, I mean, sad not to see VP playing in the league, obviously, but you get what you deserve, right? I mean, they've pretty much plummeted the last 2 seasons. It's been horrible. They're notorious for being a horrible online team, but at the same time, you can't only go behind that so long. I think it's come to a point where, you know, they have to figure out themselves, like, how do we motivate ourselves to be playing up to the potential that we have online?
And not being the same team on LAN and online is fine, but there has to be a certain standard you live up to, especially a team of VP's rank. And you know, at the end of the day, it's great, like, practice in a sense. You get to try out new things in a competitive environment. There are so many games for you to play over the course of the online season. You can really get a lot of things done and test some new stuff maybe that you want to change within the team. For Hellraisers, a different type of a story, you know, an interesting experiment after losing 2 of their players, getting in Voxic and Issa from, you know, basically just players from FPL. And we see that happening more and more. Actually, Hellraisers are one of the teams that started it off with Oscar and then Stiko and Zero and so forth. Teams going for these kind of risky pickups instead of maybe picking up someone like Kucher, you know, a guy that's played, that's more experienced. So we'll see how it pans out for them.
Yeah, we can actually see what the divisions look like now. We have these new teams added to both North America and Europe. So I think, you know, it's a bit of a different face in North America because a lot of organizations have changed as well. The new names who work their way up are Ghost Gaming, Splice, and I believe it is Rogue.
Yeah, Rogue.
Those 3 teams have made their way up into the Pro League for Season 6.
Yeah, it feels like it's going to be more stable this time around. Last year we had, you know, players not being able to, you know, field a full lineup, players not showing up for some of the games. So I feel like this time around you actually have, you look at this and you have a lot of teams who can at least, you can see them taking games off of each other and maybe messing up someone else's plans. It's going to be exciting seeing Hiko again with the new lineup, what they're capable of. So a lot of good storylines.
Obviously very interesting to see Optic, you know, they're going to have a majority European lineup playing in the NA Pro League, right? That's very interesting to see. I think from what I've heard, that the first week of the season they're going to be playing from Europe, so they'll obviously be a little hindered by the ping issue, but going down the stretch,
I don't believe in that. I saw Jason play Face It with us.
Is he amazing?
At a high level.
Okay.
He's trying to make that comeback. He's been using the player break to get his kills to a decent level, so I think they'll have no problem playing in NA from Europe.
Then moving over to Europe, which we're all lucky to be here right now, we have the European division, which the new faces, we already touched on them, but for me, you know, it's the top end of the pack, which is, it's so stacked. We were actually looking at the ways we were going to, you know, seed these teams or at least place them, and it's too hard to pick a top 6 in my opinion.
It is, but I think that's a very, very good thing. You know, I think this is going to be super competitive, and especially like we touched before, with a lot of the changes that happen now, I think the first 2 weeks are going to be very hard to predict, really, really hard to see which way these teams are going to go in the rankings. Therefore, you know, a team that you'd expect to be in that top 6 could be in a lot of trouble after the first 2 weeks already, being behind a lot in the points. Looking at the individual teams, I think someone, for me, obviously, Mousesports is going to be an interesting team, having picked up Stico and Sunny into the lineup. You know, a bit of a budget FaZe thing going on there now. You know, a lineup with variety of different nationalities, but a lot of skill too. It's going to be fun to see how they fare.
Yeah, Mousesports had very good foundations laid with the previous lineup after the departure of Nico. They seem a very well-regimented lineup, with Chris J being the in-game leader and also LMBT helping out as coach. So now, arguably, they have more talent in the lineup. You wonder whether they will be able to qualify again, when on the other side of things you have lineups like the FaZe one. I mean, it is the Galacticos of CS pretty much. They probably felt, oh, maybe we don't have enough firepower on the team. Let's just swap out Alo and Keo for Olof and Guardian. And Guardian, for me, is a very, very exciting prospect to see how will he perform in a new environment, because it did seem for a while he was a bit maybe dissatisfied with his position in Navi. And I think if you build your game around him, if you make him one of the playmakers, he can really deliver a huge amount for the team.
I think that's an interesting point to be watched here. How do they build their game? Is it going to be about Guardian? Because they have so many heavy hitters in that team that you could really just, you know, pick and choose every single round, have a very different system, having different individuals try to be the playmakers. So on the other hand, you think, like, who are going to be the more supportive guys? Who are the guys to be doing a lot of the dirty work, if you will, in this kind of a lineup? But so, yeah, looking forward to see how it all pans out.
Look, it feels like early on, you know, they're just going to be a team who's going to be running around getting those headshots, but they're going to need to put up a better performance as the season goes on if they want to make it to the finals.
But if you look at the previous lineup, when they picked up, once Nico joined, I felt like, I think you agree with me on this, that they played their best Counter-Strike just straight from the get-go. But when it was, you know, simple enough, they were just wolf-packing a lot, just making sure they were playing effectively as a team instead of going to, like, really, really deep strategies.
We do have to touch on the finals, though. They're going to be here in Denmark. They're going to be in, I'm going to say this wrong. I apologize to everybody from Denmark. I'm going to say Odense or Odense, something like that. It's something like that, but it's the third largest city here.
Starts with an O.
They're quite technologically savvy, I've heard, so it's going to be a great place for the finals. Already sold out 50% of the tickets, and it is the 4th event in the Intel Grand Slam.
We love Counter-Strike in Scandinavia.
Yeah, well, you guys do, right? So we also have coming up in the Grand Slam, we have ESL 1 New York and IEM Oakland. So if SK win all of these events in a row, they could be the first team to take it home. That's $1 million.
Which is going to be a very, very tall order, even for a team like SK. Just so many great teams right now in the scene. But yeah, I think it's a great little, you know, extra motivational step. The Intel Grand Slam, of course, the extra prize money. What's going to be really exciting for me is once a team gets to like 3 wins, right? And if you are a team that denies them the 4th win in the grand final, there's also, I believe, like a prize for, I think it's 100K, something like that. But it's also interesting to see, you know, teams like stepping up to deny someone the grand slam. It's going to be very, very interesting to see.
Well, you and I have actually done some predictions, Janko. We've done some predictions.
Unfortunately, we have, Chad. We went down the rabbit hole yet again.
These are just our, I guess, order of how we think the leaderboard would end or could end come the end of the season.
I think this is a competition for who's the better analyst.
Oh, well, let's put down the gauntlet straight away.
I mean, you're a host now, so maybe
temporary host. But this one here is my predictions. I've put the 2 Danish teams, well, 2 of the 3 Danish teams at the very top.
You spent too much time with Henry. You put NIP 6.
I like the new NIP. I think the new NIP is looking pretty nice with Rez and Draken, right? I've got Mouse falling out there. That's, you know, that's the question. That 6th spot is pretty hard. I would love to see the likes of Navi and FaZe make it like this time round. The FaZe lineup, obvious reasons there. And then the bottom, you know, it's not too hard to predict Hellraiser's is Godson and ODLC in the bottom 3.
Yeah, the bottom 4 feels like that's very likely.
Yeah, as you can see, I agree with you, Chad, in this one, but I kind of have, you know, I put faith into Mousesports.
Hold up a second. Haven't Mousesports broken your heart too many times? Nico's not even there anymore.
Yeah, exactly.
That's why.
Listen, I told you, like, Mousesports are looking good, like with the new lineup, and even before the way they approach CS, it's very, very solid. And also Envious, that's why I have them there as well. It's kind of that rule that we talked about. Some favorite has to be out.
Yep.
And for me, that's G2 for some reason, and Fnatic as well. I feel like not many people really consider them like a favorite anymore after the roster changes. But yeah, it would feel very strange for both Astralis and FaZe not to make it this time around. Navi with a proper in-game leader now should probably be a stronger squad themselves. So, but yeah, NVS is a team that I expect more from, not just in Pro League in this season, but also in other tournaments. We saw them being able to qualify for ESL 1 New York, besting G2 in the process. So a very, very promising start from NVS in the second half of the year.
Yeah, I don't know if we're going to see too much from them, though, to be honest. I know that you're feeling very confident in them, but it's not something...
trust in the headshot machine?
Look, Scream is a good player, but it's just that team as a whole, they're still running the same kind of system that we saw from 2015, right? It doesn't, to me, feel like it's something which can hopefully... It shouldn't work. If they keep winning, then, okay, props to them, and I'll shut up and I'll eat my baguettes. But it's just one of those things. But not only do we have that kind of competition going on, we have the fantasy going on as well. So if you want to sign up, you can get involved in the fantasy Counter-Strike, fantasy.eslgaming.com. We'll see if that works. I don't know. We might have technical issues. It might work. It does work. I spoke too soon. But we've created some teams here. Natsu got in last minute. He missed the invite, but we finally got him in there.
This is a great team.
Which team?
It's going to pop up.
Okay.
Just wait for it. Like we have all Cindy Underground, London Mint, iNation, all the failed teams of the past of your talent. This is a very strong lineup. I went for the cheeky Sponge tactic where you don't pick all the 5 players, so just pick the 4 ones. So here, for example, SK plays 4 games in NA. And
that's smart.
It's against Complexity, against Ghost. You feel like they should dominate there. So I feel that's a strong pick. And also you have Simple. Simple's like...
Yeah, he's a good player.
Pretty strong player. Now he plays a decent amount of games. And then the empty slot is there, just for the points, basically.
That's a good strategy.
I put mine in last minute, so I didn't really watch who's going to play how many games. So I just went for a variety.
Lack of preparation for the Finn.
Lauren would not be happy with the strategy that we've decided to go with here. I want to see... What's Harry's team called?
Hey, it's me, tier 2.
Wow. Self-deprecation at an all-time high.
Not really a lot of confidence in that one, is there?
No. But yeah, if you guys want to get involved in that, you can just head over to the website, fantasy.eslgaming.com. That's the website once again. Sign up, have a bit of fun, have the banter with the mates. We need a trophy of some kind. Maybe we'll get one as the weeks progress.
Pie.
No, I think we're done with the pies. I think we're done with the cream pies.
Please.
I'm not so excited about cream and pies. But if we're going to get stuck into this evening, we have the hot match of the week up first. And that is FaZe versus G2. This is the debut. These are the matches we have tonight. So I just touched on the G2 FaZe. They're going to be playing on Occasion Overpass. Overpass will be very interesting, I think. Big taking on Fnatic in the second matchup on the A stream, I suppose we'll call it. And then if you head over to the secondary stream, you can check out Hellraisers versus Heroic and Mousesports taking on Godsent. And just to find the link of the other stream, it's in the same place as this one. So gaming.youtube.com/ESLCS. You can just pick either the A or the B stream or the mainstream and the secondary stream, whatever you want to call it.
You can watch both if you have 2 monitors. Split screens, you can do a lot.
Put one on your phone.
Easy life.
Yeah. But, we do have a sponsor this time around. It's Betway. And we got the odds from them for tonight's match. I'm going to see where they're lying, see which they're favouring, and then we can let the experts talk about things. But, that is very even. That's... Look, for those people playing at home that don't know betting odds, you're going to Google it because I'm not going to explain it to you. I'm not going to explain to you how it works, but that's the odds from Betway. And I don't think that's probably fair because there's a lot of unknown factors coming into tonight's game.
Yeah, it's very hard to say. I mean, you have, first of all, teams coming off vacation. Then you have the FaZe lineup, just fresh from changing 2 players. So many unknowns. So that is, from a betting standpoint, that's a tough one to call, really, to be honest with you, how it's going to pan out. Obviously, you'd think G2 should have the upper hand in terms of having that lineup for a long period of time. They should have, more to go by. But at the same time, with the fiery squad that FaZe is going to throw at them, so many things can just go south from a G2 point of view.
We could just go G2's route, flip a coin. See what happens.
That was ridiculous. That made me so mad.
Love to see that.
So mad. Which do you think is the most interesting addition to FaZe? Do you think it is Guardian or do you think it's Olaf? Which do you think can bring more to the team?
That's a rough question. I would say Guardian could bring more, but I want to say because he's more of a playmaking type of an opera, but they already have enough playmakers, even in riflers, especially now with the addition of Olaf. I don't think necessarily Alo was the problem for the team. I don't think anyone can argue that Guardian is the better player. So it is going to be interesting to see, I think, the most what Yona mentioned as well. How is Kerrigan going to juggle them all together, right? When at the same time Olaf and Guardian say, hey, I want to make a play, who does it, who goes for it, and what does Nico do in the meantime, and Rain, people are forgetting about Rain. He was their best player at the major when everyone was underperforming, had crazy performances, so there's going to be some figuring out for Kerrigan to do.
Yeah, I think it'll take a few weeks at least before they can really establish on how they want to approach it, but at the same time, like I said, they have so many options, that it may even become kind of overcomplicated sometimes for them. But at the same time, it's good to have plan C, D, E, F, G, and so forth, right? If things go south, they have that luxury going for them. But when it cocomes to your question, Guardian and Olaf, you have to remember Olaf was the best player in the world at 1.2, right? So it's really hard to be trying to put together who's better of the two.
I think it's very important to remember, though, even with so much talent on the team, I don't think FaZe can afford to play like the old Fnatic lineup did or the old Envious lineup did, just based off of those individual plays and individual players. I just think that style of CS has become obsolete, like we see from the G2 and Fnatic lineup that formed in the beginning of this year. So I just hope that all the players, despite their skill and maybe some egos that they have because of their achievements, I hope that they all still have the presence of mind to be aware that they just can't keep running around and hoping to win games like that. They actually need to have structure, need to listen to Kerrigan and his game plan, Robin as well, and if they do that, I feel FaZe will be extremely, extremely dangerous.
I actually think FaZe and Cologne played very scared in that game versus SK, right? I think that the way that they were playing on Overpass was super passive in the sense of they didn't want to take those risks that we're talking about, and that's like the one thing that FaZe should have over every other team. It's just weird to see them, play such a scared brand of CS.
Then go on to play in the major and just play overly arrogant, people just pushing through smokes when it didn't make sense at all. It seemed like the camaraderie, in a sense, had died in that team altogether at that point in time. It felt like something was really, really off. That wasn't necessarily having to do anything with the game itself, but affected the game massively. So, yeah, I mean, two very polar opposites in that sense. And, as we can tell, it eventually became changes into the lineup.
Yeah, so I think, the way that Counter-Strike's going at the moment, we might be coming into an era of AWPers. And, touching on AWPers from G2, we have Kenny S, probably the best AWPer in the world right now. At least you can argue that he is. He was the MVP of Season 5 finals. He played amazing. He was back to the Kenny S of old. And I'm just curious to see if we're going to see that transition through, because it's people don't understand with AWPers that it can be difficult to be consistent, right? Because the frags aren't always coming your way. When you're an active AWPer, or I guess the term I like to use is combat AWPer, that Kenny S can do. He can get stuck in on the T side with the entry frags. On the CT side, he doesn't have a problem getting in there with the AWP and retaking. It means you can maybe find a lot more frags, and that's where I think AWPers need to go. You can't just be like a Cage and B where you sit back and hold the lines and hope you can make your kills there, because you can be isolated. This style of AWPer, this Kenny S, I guess you got the Hennys, the KNGs, the Fallens of the world. These are the guys who are all vying for the title.
He's very mobile, isn't he? And he's the kind of AWPer in the style he plays that you really need to feel the game well to be able to be effective. It's a lot about intuition. It's a lot about just happening to make the right call at the right time, because it will always involve risk, and it can really be a hindrance to your team at the same time. But it can also be the kind of play that wins around single-handedly.
And you also have to be very strong mentally, right? Psychologically, to have the confidence to go for that style, to take aggressive risks. We saw it with Kenny S, actually. Sometimes when he starts off badly, if he has a poor game, you can see, head in hand, things like that. And it seems like his confidence falls off a lot. That's something that he himself has been mentioning in interviews, something that he has been working on as a player. So I agree that gives you more options as an in-game leader, as a team, to have that type of an AWPer, and it's interesting to see how after these changes the teams will be able to implement them.
Yeah, I guess normally at this point we'd want to get stuck in and talk about map specifics, right? But we can't really do that when we're seeing a new phase. It's hard to predict what we're going to expect in G2 as well. The player break means that teams could have changed stuff up over that period of time, or they might come in a bit looser. So I think something that is interesting to talk about is, why aren't we seeing the shocks of old? I know that most of us here, actually all of us here, have been in-game leaders at some point, right? So we know, it's difficult to sit there and talk about, do the strategies, do all the planning, micromanage all of your teammates and still frag. But Shox is one of those players who you thought, at least with the support group or support network that G2 has, they could have built a system where he just has to say one word and everybody kind of knows what to do. He's been very up and down, and more down over the last couple of months, if anything.
I think it feels to an extent that perhaps G2 as a team, they've been trying to play more of team-branded Counter-Strike, and Shox trying to honor that, isn't going for as many individual plays. He's kind of more laid back and trying to micromanage the team. But, it's not that obvious when you look at them play. So you wonder whether it's just, a drop of form, maybe just not getting the kills that he usually gets. But I feel for G2 to be, a real contender, a consistent contender, Shox has to be a consistent performer for that team because of his style. He's just good at everything. He can pistol, op, rifle, clutch, anything, entry, even for the team. So the team needs to put him in a better position for them to become a stronger contender, I feel like.
Yeah, I mean, it could be a case of just like growing pains, trying to be more disciplined, trying to be more structured, like you mentioned there. Therefore, it's always going to affect the individual performance of a player like him, who is a lot about having the free room and being able to make plays that don't necessarily look pretty or don't make a lot of sense, but they can be very effective. And if you do those kind of things, that's going to break the dynamic of the system. So I guess the time will tell, the rest of the year kind of will tell whether or not it was more about them trying to build something in the big picture more than him individually dropping the ball.
It's also just mad looking at G2 still and seeing how much they will force buy in a game. Like when they lose 2 gun rounds, for example, they're just gonna start forcing after that. They don't have the patience or maybe the confidence in their other side to say, okay, let's just eco here, or let's double eco so that we have a proper gun round that we can play around. And it feels like they shoot themselves in the foot doing that in some of the games. The game ends up being like a 16-13 affair, and you wonder, okay, maybe if they just ecoed here and had 1 or 2 more true gun rounds to play with, they might have had a chance of actually making the full comeback and winning the game.
That's the heritage of Envious.
Okay.
It comes from all the way back those days when the CZs used to be the god of Counter-Strike, right? And it just feels like they just keep on going at that road.
Could be coming back with the Tech 9 and 5-7 nerf. You never know. Those things could be impacting a lot. But we actually have the Cockney couple ready to cast the game. That's Hank and Hazza. They're waiting, ready to talk to us.
Hello, lads. How's it going?
G'day, boys.
Yeah, I'm not normally nice to you lot, but I have to say, Chad, I think you're doing a nice job, and I think the conversation's been very interesting.
I'm very nervous.
Congratulations. It's been fun. I've been enjoying myself.
Henry,
oh, hello. What's going on here?
There's something special, mate. It's your birthday today.
Oh, it is.
Happy birthday,
25 years young. And,
Don't lie to us, mate.
Do I have to throw this in my own face?
Jason's behind
what do I do here?
We actually flew Jason in to slam it in your face a little bit later after the broadcast.
Amazing. That'd be great. I can't wait to be cream pied by you, Chad.
By me?
Oh, Jason.
Oh, okay. That's happened before.
Yeah. Well, there we go. Thanks, lads. Harry, how's it going?
Yeah, it's going good. It's a big day. Not just because of the broadcast, but because it is your birthday.
It is my birthday.
You don't look 30.
Because I'm not 30. I'm 29, so I hope I don't. But
39,
yes.
yeah, nearly.
Yeah, but still, we've got a hell of a game to kick things off.
Yeah,
the hot
definitely.
match of the week, right? It's going to be G2 versus FaZe. A new complexion of FaZe as well.
Yeah.
Are you excited by the prospect of Olaf Meister and Guardian?
I'm a fan of the two players, but I don't know. It's a weird one. Right? I think no matter how you look at it, you can't. No one really knows whether or not it's going to work out wholeheartedly. Sure. Do I think they're going to beat G2 tonight? I don't know.
I think
that's a tricky one.
No, we have this thing in Counter-Strike, right? Even back to Source 1.6, when new teams are formed, we had called a honeymoon period.
Yeah.
When you're super hyped about joining this new team, you're excited about the lineup, and you turn up and things just seem to click. You're not focusing too much on strategies. You're just focusing on the fundamentals, working as a core unit, having defaults, hitting your shots. Everyone's happy and getting along. No one hates each other yet. So it gets to that point where you just turn up and your lights out, and everyone's kind of been a little bit jaded recently. Olaf Meister hasn't had the results he wanted for the last couple of years, and same sort of a Guardian as well. Na'Vi have had a terrible run in the last year and a half or so. So I think coming into this one, they'll be excited and revitalized. We've talked about the lack of practice and the bad results these guys have been having. I think this could be the one. This could be the lineup that kind of brings it all together.
Yeah, at the same time, I feel like G2 were a team that never had that honeymoon period. We never really saw that from them.
It was pretty bad out of the gate, wasn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I feel like they've been making improvements gradually, and then they kind of hit a bit more of a slump. I'm hoping after a break, they can come back and we can see them looking good. And you have to bear in mind as well that, like, coming into this first map is going to be Cash. That's a map that, historically Fnatic haven't been too great on as of late. And then also when you look at it, Guardian and then Na'Vi, it was their insta-veto for what, like two and a bit years? They played it once. So,
I think as an AWP, though, it's an AWP-centric map. I think you'll be happy. You've got a lot of options at the very start of each round. You can, on the CT side especially, right? You can go towards middle, B store, squeaky door, A main. It's great for AWPers that want to be assertive and kind of find those opening picks. So I think that's absolutely great. Sure, Na'Vi did beat this map for a long time. He might not necessarily have as much experience, generally speaking, but I still think he'll be fine and be happy and maybe excited to be playing this map. And FaZe, it's a hard-hitting, fast-fragging map, so this is perfect for them. They were considered one of the most skilled lineups in CSGO when they had Alu and Kiyoshima. Now, Olofmeister and Guardian coming in, surely that's got to be the scariest team right now.
Yeah, and you know, I mean, when you look at it as well, when they first bought Nico, and if you remember, they had that kind of big explosion into it all, and they came second at IEM with very little practice. They looked fantastic there, and those results kept up for a bit. You know, that is kind of one way I think you could look at this. Is this roster change now going to be kind of the second coming of FaZe, right?
Well, we will find out. We are going to get into Cash. It's the first map. We do have Overpass up next as well. Baseline side on the CT side by the looks of things, and G2, they're going to have a deagle, of course. It's MBK. He might have a decent spawn. I'll just check in with him. He does have a very good spawn indeed. He's heading towards B, and we'll see if they can find that opening frag. And I'll have a look at the CT setup as well. 2-on-2 for now, as the T's are looking to boost up towards middle.
Yeah, they're going to be taking it very, very slowly. But Rain, he's already started to force the issue, pushing on through, finds MBK, goes in for a little bit more, and Apex will be picked up as well. So a two-man advantage taken early on as a commanding lead does come out of the gates here for FaZe. Exactly how they'd want their CT side to kick off. Rain still hungry for a little bit more. Tries going hunting over a mid. It's going to mean that Kenny and the rest of the guys, they have been spotted. And Olaf, there we go. The ex-Fnatic player going to be stepping up over a mid. Gets himself one, leaving this now on Shox and Body. As already, with a minute and 5 seconds left, they've been relegated into a 2v5.
Seeing Body, well, now just Body. Olofmeister with a lovely shot there. Always been very good with the silenced USPs. Rain with 2 frag this round. Olofmeister also with a couple himself. Body, the last player remaining. Not anymore. Guardian, a clean sweep for FaZe Clan. That's very convincing, I have to say. We know it's an incredibly skilled lineup. Just look at the names there on the left-hand side of your screen. You've got Rain, Guardian, Carragher, Nico, Olofmeister. So much firepower here, and a nice message to send out to the French side there. There will be a force buy, of course, from G2. No bomb going down in that pistol, and we'll see whether they can cause any sort of damage here. This is one of the points Chad is making, that G2 are very good with the force buys, the Deagles, the CZs, and we'll see whether they live up to that reputation as we go into round number 2 here. Just more of a default formation for now. MBK towards Squeaky Door, Kenny S holding towards A main. No one really bringing much to the table just yet, but smoke for Shoxy. They will be potentially using that towards Highway, maybe go towards the A side. We can see Nico boosted up for now. He'll be trying to spray them down with the FAMAS in hand.
Carragher, he's looking curious as to what Squeaky could have in store, but isn't too keen to go pushing in just yet, while the rest of G2, they're lining up outside the B-bomb site. Gonna go ahead and throw back the bombers. Body and Shox, they're ready to try and make this work. Apex gonna be joining them, and now they're just warming up on the outside of the site. Guardian and Rain, the 2 players to try and hold this back. The newest addition to the roster, waiting within the site. Guardian peeks out, he only takes one, gonna get completely annihilated there from Body. Rain trying to trade things out, he's gonna fall short, as well as Shox now picks up one of his own. The Deg on Kenny doing some work as Olofmeister, he's the first man on the scene. Damage being done. Won't be enough though. Bomb does go down for G2. And while FaZe, they're going to be coming into this 3v4. They're a man down. The bomb has been ticking away for quite some time. They have to try and move quickly here, and with so little utility, they currently find themselves locked out of the site. Nico has to take his time over in mid, and this round is very, very far gone. They're going to try pushing on through. Carragher and Olofmeister both fall. Now it's all on Nico. 1 versus 3, trying to step up with the FAMAS. Able to take the first, still has more work left to do. He's going to be kept back, and this will be the round to go the way of G2.
There it is. I asked the question at the start of the round, Eric. Could G2 do anything with this force buy? Got a very strong reputation as to being very good with the Deagles, the CZs, and the P250s. And my God, do they deliver towards that B bomb site. Simple smoke towards CT spawn, hitting the first shots there and running over FaZe. And always a gutting round to give away. And now will be 1-1. I'm sure we'll see a force buy in return, though. FaZe, it'll be Nico and Olofmeister with FAMAS's in hand, and then they're up at 3. They've got themselves Deagles. Guardian really joining in with these force buys as well. It's not common to see the AWPer really go in as deep as his teammates, but he's gone all in, hoping they can win this round. If they do not, he won't have the AWP for quite some time. Number 3. And I'm sure that G2 will be very patient with this one, but not patient enough. It's Rain finding that first headshot there. Lovely shot towards the B storage area. Takes down Body, and now it's a 5-on-4. Won't be able to recover a weapon just yet, I do not believe. So he'll have to hold up for a little bit longer, but that was a nice play.
Yeah, they're desperate to try and claim this lead back already. was Rain to put that plan into action as Nico and Olaf, the 2 players with the rifles, await down in mid. Guardians rotated in as well, so there is going to be the 3-man hold on middle. Apex is the one sneaking on up. Meanwhile, NBK going to fall prey to Nico. Kenny takes one more of his own. They're going to try and continue this push out in mid, but Nico's being a real force to be reckoned with. Takes himself a second. Kenny has to try and trade this out. He has himself the M4. Support going to be coming in from Shox, who now starts to walk over to B. They're going to try and move into this, but Rain, he's lurking down in checkers, just biding his time with the Deke. Has to be cautious because Shox is sneaking on round. He is wary of the prospect, and they've also rotated in Nico to try and help. 25 seconds left. Push looking out to try and come through. Kenny gets spotted out over in vents. Nico drops the bomb within the site, and it all falls onto Kenny. 1v4. Able to find the first. Looks to try and get more work done, but it looks like FaZe should be able to pull this round back.
Well, there it is. Anything you can do, I can do better. FaZe managed to keep 3 players alive there with their force buy. They did have a couple of FAMAs to work there. Nico and Olaf Meister with the strong rifles there, and considered some of the best rifles in the world. So there's no surprise they can get some serious work done there. There was Rain, who pushed towards B storage. That first Deagle headshot he got was all the way in towards C spawn. He rattled Body at the very start there, and it's going to be a force buy in return, Harry. This is pandemonium right now. We'll see what happens as we go into round number 4. A couple of AKs, Kenny S and Body with those. No one wanting to give in just yet. They want to keep force buying back and denying any sort of cash to be made by the CT side. Another boost potentially for Nico this time, I think. He's got the silence then forward, makes sense. Up he goes. Carrigan enables one of his best fraggers to get into a strong position here against these Deagles. An AK combo.
Yeah, back and forth. Forget everything you thought you knew about G2 and FaZe right now. As you said, exactly 2 AKs brought up here for G2 for them to try and work with. But last time it was the pistols that were wreaking all the havoc. So the boost has been employed. Nico, he's stuck up on it, out on the A-bomb site. They're also going to be sticking at one of the AKs in mid. That's Kenny. We know he's one of the best AWPers in the world. Now he's going to try and utilize these rifles at range 2. They focused on mid a good bit in the previous round. This time there's only one man there to watch out for it. He is going to jump on down, but it's Rain in B. Spots through the smoke. Shox has fallen, and that was also the bomb drop. They're going to have to go ahead and pick that up with only 40 seconds left. This push looking to try and come underway. Rain falls back more passively into B, and Guardian's going to be holding this from headshot.
Yeah, that's a really nice play from Rain. They've got the kill, running down the timer, as you can see, 30 seconds here. Enabling crossfires, they've got the advantage, don't want to give that away. We have BX2 to finish off here for G2. I don't think they can win this round, but let's see if they can find the next kill.
Yeah, it's going to be tricky. They have to try and land their shots. And Apex, first man to fall. Olaf Meister stepping up from heaven, takes 2 and a third as he relegates the Frenchman on 2 and Eco in this round. They've got nothing left. Apex, he can maybe go for a pistol, but other than that, they're going to be scrounging around for what they can. FaZe Clan take 2 in a row, and that will finally be G2's economy compromised.
Yep, someone's going to have to give up at this point. We did have a very exciting kickoff to this game. It's no surprise either. FaZe versus G2. So much skill available on the server. There's going to be force buys all over the shop, but FaZe Clan now with a huge advantage in terms of going up against the Glocks. A couple of upgraded pistols there. We can see Apex with the Desert Eagle. No armor spotted though, or flashbangs or smoke grenades. So not really much they can do with this round. It's one of the rounds we don't really expect too much of. We're not getting too excited. It's almost guaranteed that FaZe will be winning this one unless Apex have had a couple of headshots here, which is unlikely. Now they know that Deagle's boosted towards middle. You don't really have to work too hard here. Just sit on the bomb sites, deny them planting the bomb. You can get a little bit, I don't know, maybe carried away sometimes in the CD side and try and hump at the frag as soon as you hear those Glocks going off, but it's best just to concentrate on the bigger picture and try and keep all 5 players alive. Nice work from Olaf Meister.
Yeah, he's just going to keep tapping away over in middle. Guardian takes 1, and Shox and MBK over here with their Glocks out in Squeaky. Won't be lasting much longer. There you go, Carrigan mops them up. FaZe, they take a nice easy 4-1. Not overextending there, as you said. Good merit to not go ahead and lose anything out to the Glocks. They had the 1 CZ, I think it was, brought up, and Guardian, well, now he's got himself the AWP, and there isn't going to be one up for Kenny.
That's the problem with the force buy mentality, Harry. If you keep doing that, you limit yourselves. I was scared when Guardian and co were doing it, but they managed to win their rounds. G2, unfortunately, not. We know Kenny S, one of the world's best AWPers right now. He's a good rifler as well, I'll give him that. He's not going to be completely limited here. He's still useful with the AK-47. But we're going to see a boost up here. I think it's Rain heading towards the vents, and he'll be patrolling towards middle with his teammates as well. So looking quite promising for the CTs here. Actually, quite a lot of mid presence. Carrigan, Olaf Meister, Rain in the vents as well. Trying to battle at the very start, but nothing really coming in from G2. Haven't deployed any of their smokes just yet. Still have 5 of those up. Just trying to bleed out the CTs and try and get some sort of information as to where they may be set up.
It's a bit of the old bait and switch over mid. You have the crossfire between Olaf and Rain. Rain being the vent player. He can just stay hidden and then peek out when they try to come through. Or he can take the duel and then rely on Olaf to come ahead and help him out. For the time being, G2 just trying to get a feel exactly for where FaZe are playing this. And Buddy, he's holding the push into B. You've got MBK over in Squeaky. Carrigan's going to be there waiting for him. And, well, the bomb slowly but surely making its way into main, along with 2 other players here for G2. Shox, Apex, and Kenny looking to try and be the spearhead on this force with MBK to help them out from Squeaky. Leaving Body over in middle. Nico boosted up. He can spot the heads of these players as they come in. Has to try and assist Carrigan. Fast rotate able to come in from Olaf as well. And now the push underway. Start to make their way on through. Nico peeks up, finds the first. No trade in sight, so the man advantage taken. Carrigan tapping away. That's the bomb dropped out in the open. And now G2, they have to try and get a move on here. Olaf is doing damage as he finds one more, and Kenny, the only man able to get anything done, coming in. Out through main, he loses Body in middle, leaving him in the 1v4. It's not looking good here for G2 as he desperately tries to claw this one back. Over by Quad, finds the first, but Nico instantly trades him out, and that'll be FaZe soldiering forward with a 5th.
Yeah, really nice round there from FaZe. Generally looking quite strong. Nothing too flashy, didn't push for any frags at the very start, but Rain getting some basic information towards B storage, managing to find a couple of frags and funnel them towards the A side of the map. We did see smokes deployed, but there's nice synergy there between Carrigan and Nico on the A side generally, looking like they could actually call for each other when the smokes were coming in, drop the incendiaries as well. Flashbangs were good, and G2, not the best execution there, very basic from them as well. We go into round number 7, and we're going to have Deagles and a P250. MBK with some body armor, but no nades, and that should have been an easy kill for Guardian, but he gets his head blown off. We know the pistols are strong here for G2. Now the pressure applied towards Rain.
Yeah, Rain's going to try and hold out as the push starts to come on through. MBK still all the way over in Squeaky, and this could mean that they're going to try and push that bomb back or have him come in on the lurk. Well, the orb gets dropped, juggled over to Kenny now. Bomb rotating back around as MBK calls that the A bomb site is open, and FaZe, they've gone and stuck everyone in B. And while they have enough time to rotate players back, it's MBK who's going to cause them a world of problems. Waiting over by truck. Carrigan sneaking on through. Could get caught with the knife out. 15 HP. He's going to fall prey to MBK as he finds the first. He's going to keep the A bomb site clear. And now the plant can come in. Great round from G2 thus far. Kenny has himself the AWP, and that's his weapon of choice as he starts to turn his attention over towards Highway. Nico quickly beheads him, finds the opener, but MBK pivots back round. Turns this entire round on its head. Olaf left in the 1v2. Has to be careful as MBK awaits him over on Highway. Shox in A main. The crossfire set up, and it'll be MBK to finish it. Single-handedly carries that round forward for G2 with a triple.
Yeah, loving that from MBK. And once again, it's G2 finding another round there with pistols. They're yet to do it with the rifles, but you can't argue with the prowess of the Desert Eagle. Very good stuff from MBK. They started finding kills towards the B bomb, so I have to take Guardian. He should be hitting that shot all day long. Fair enough, it was lovely from G2 to take his head off, but that seemed like a pretty standard AWP shot to me. And then, once that starts happening, FaZe over-rotate. MBK sneaks in towards the A side, finds 1 kill, and as we saw, getting towards that CT struck, stopping the rotations, allowing his teammates to get in nice and clean, finding 3 kills in total. Still have a buy here for G2, and of course FaZe as well. Double AWP set up for the FaZe clan, Nico and Guardian. What a disgusting combo that potentially could be. We'll see how that works out for them. And G2 back with the Kenny S AWP is what we wanted to see. Guardian versus Kenny S. It's going to be one of the best AWP duels we can possibly have.
Yeah, Nico's actually over on A with the second AWP for the CT side. He's the man we're going to see spring into action first. As right now, Guardian, he waits down in mid. So Nico versus Kenny, not quite the AWP duel we were expecting, but it's the one that we're going to end up seeing first here out on A. That is, unless G2 have a change of heart, which it looks like they might. Starting to fall back. Going to try boosting a player up in mid. It's Olaf. for FaZe to try and keep these guys at bay. He's going to start to fall back. If they peek now, they would catch him out, so he falls back over to white box. Pop flash comes through. Apex takes the close peek, clears all that out. Rest of the gang now start to try and peek on over, and G2 looking like they're going to try and switch things up. Apex finds the first. Nice quick flick. Clearly, he's warmed up after being back from the holidays. Carrigan trying to trade, finds the first, looks for more, but Kenny is there. Quick on the trigger, trades it back in favor of G2. And now it's all eyes on Rain and Guardian in B. They can make all the difference.
Yeah, Body's heard them though. Oh, he hits that shot and she gets 2 frags. It's not meant to be. Trying to make up for it now. Finds the shot on Rain. That's quite nice, I have to say. Now it's a 4-on-2. Guardian once again missing shots, Harry. It's not looking too good, but Nico on the other hand, that's looking glorious. He's got the bomb and he's denied it as well. Look at the time. He just needs to stay alive. 1 second, he's actually done it. Out of nowhere, when the round was falling apart, it was a 4 versus 1 situation and GT's got a little bit carried away there. A long default at the start, and we saw it build up. We thought, okay, missed shots from Guardian. This round is done. Nico try and save it at AWP, but somehow he sneaks his 2 frags in, and that was the key moment there. They dropped the bomb by itself. It was the coordination was off. That was a lack of communication, and this is what we described last season. After the player break, some massive mistakes are usually made, and that was just a lapse of concentration, I think, for the G2 side.
Yeah, I could tell you still had hope in your voice, and I was trying to signal that the time was low,
Yeah.
and then the penny dropped.
I saw it.
There you go. That's it all over in that round, at least. The buy can come in once again. Kenny's back on the AWP, but right now it's not doing too much for them. Going to try and turn their attention once again out towards A. Nico's within the site, going to have the AWP in hand. Kenny takes the peek on out. Doesn't spot anything straight away. That Molotov denies his presence over in quad. They
missed that.
Yeah, they missed 2. The second one kind of saves them. Nico relegated back, smoked off. Carrigan's made his way up through highway. They're going to be pushing on in, and they've completely bypassed the players holding the site. Nico on the AWP, replicating these heroics once again. He's taken 2 as he looks to try and win FaZe Clan. Another impossible round. Carrigan, meanwhile, chiming in from highway. They do manage to deal with Nico, but it's Guardian now to step up with 2 more, and that will be FaZe in with their 7th. These AWPs right now are on fire.
Yeah, Cash is one of my favourite maps. Had the double AWP set up there. And Nico, had a bit of a question mark around him. I was wondering, can he step up? We know he's been on holiday for a while, hasn't really touched the game that much. Last few days he's been playing, but that AWP is looking crispy, I have to say. And Guardian finally hitting a few impressive shots there as well, rotating in from that B-bomb site. A is just on lockdown right now. G2 have only won rounds with the pistols. I don't think they're going to replicate that with this particular round. They've only got PT50s and Glocks. It's usually when the Tech 9, the CZ, the Deagles come out, that's when things become problematic. But for now, FaZe Clan, they're looking incredibly sharp, I have to say, as we enter round number 10. Back on that single AWP setup, actually. So unable to recover the secondary AWP as we get into this one. Will be Nico boosted up, of course. Same position. We used to call that Shroud. I guess maybe we still should. And kind of immortalize him, potentially.
Yeah, it will always be a forever Shroud in our hearts and minds. Here we go. G2. 4 players down in middle. MBK, he just loves his squeaky door, and I think it's because that way he can get close to the aforementioned position just on the outside of it. But Carrigan's fighting some good damage in through Squeaky. The rest of the gang slowly but surely pushing up through highway. Got to try and be fast. Spotted out now by Carrigan. Nico up on the boost. Normally you're very vulnerable from highway on this position, but not when you've got an M4 and everyone else is naked, and you're Nico as he takes 3. Completely annihilates them there. Mops up the anti-eco round there for FaZe, and that will be an 8-2 scoreline. 6 rounds ahead. It's utter domination right now from FaZe.
Yeah, just looking very comfortable. Everyone seems to be fragging. Guardian a bit quiet to begin with, but now he's starting to get warmed up as well. Carrigan and Nico has been such a deadly duo towards the A-bomb side. I've been enjoying that quite a lot. It seems like their setups are very nice. They're changing it up every single round, different variations of it as well, dropping an AWP in there every now and then. It doesn't seem like G2 have a response right now. Normally, a great side on Cash especially. I think they've always been very good at this map, and Shoxy definitely has a decent understanding of it, can work out what he has to do. They've got Smiths on the comms as well, trying to help them out, but so far, not really causing a dent with the rifles whatsoever. The pistols have the only rounds that have bared fruit for them, and we'll see. After this pause, if they can work things out, Harry, the buys starting to come in here. We can see AK-47s, Kenny S with the AWP, of course, and MBK and Body yet to buy. But It will be a full buy round. Having a look at the utility they've got available to them. It's not the best, but certainly not the worst. They still get the 4 AK-47s and Kenny S with the AWP. The problem is he does not have head armor or any nades. So we'll see if he can have some hard-hitting action, potentially towards the mid area, but holding towards B storage for now. That's an audacious push from Karrigan, I have to say, but down he goes. Shoxy will take that all day long.
Yeah, Rain almost looking curious over here on B as to what holds in store. If he does go adventuring, Guardian's going to be there holding it with the AWP. Shox being tagged away. Has to be careful because Olaf doesn't have time for anything that lands between them. It's going to be able to find some decent damage. That nade sadly doesn't connect. What a way to finish it off that would have been, but damage has been done in return. Shox hasn't even seen a man yet, with the exception of Karrigan, and he's been tagged down 18 HP. And now, while G2, they're going to have their hands forced a little bit here as to start to try and make their mind up. They've still got time left to come to that decision. Rain's rotated in over in middle, once again boosting up on this A-bomb site. It's Nico. The man advantage is up here for G2, and they're taking this so incredibly slowly. They don't want to try and allow FaZe to pull it back. Instead, they're going to turn their attention now out towards mid. Olaf and Rain there, the two players tasked with trying to hold this back. Kenny finds the first. Olaf hits the deck. And now we should see G2 start to try and push on the back of it, unless Guardian stands in their way, which he will. Gonna drop body now, puts the pressure on the rest of G2 to try and open this up from vents.
Well then, a chance for Rain to come and backstab here as he takes down Kenny S. 3-on-3. Shoxy low HP as well. They'll be finishing up towards the B. Bombs up, and Nico, he finds MBK once again trying to sneak towards A. Now it's a 2 versus 1. Shoxy, low HP, surely can't do anything in this situation. I think the player in towards Checkers has to be very careful here, considering his teammate is rotating in from far away, but he decides to push. Can't deny the plan just yet, but still wants to find that frag. Shoxy, known to be very good in the clutches, can't deliver today, and it's Rain. Nice timing there. Isolate his opponent, knowing he was low HP as well. Manages to take him down. You can see Nico desperately trying to get the AWP, and his teammate will not defuse for now. Just going to allow him to run around and collect it, go back to that double AWP setup, which is working so nicely. But Harry, that was a 5-on-3 situation. They got the first 2 picks there, and G2, once again, they seem to be focused on MBK backstabbing towards the A side of the map, and it's worked once with the Deagles, but then if he's just with his teammates, he could have refragged and actually done something about that situation, and Nico was boosted once again. He's finding so many frags from that shroud position. He takes down MBK, and then Shoxy left at 10 HP. Couldn't really do much about that. Isolate on the bomb site. Down he goes. It's 9-2. Bomb planted. And have they forced into this? They have not. This is a partial buy, so there'll be maximum loss winners next round. As long as you keep the money around the 2k mark, you can afford to invest some weaponry, but a nice adaptation here from FaZe. First time we've seen them go hyper-aggressive here towards the A side of the map. They do push in. Nico leading the charge, and that's quite the scary prospect when he's got an AK-47 in his hands.
3 players for G2 now residing in Squeaky. They're multiplying as now they're going to come pushing on out. Nico just sprays them down. He's going to be on 2, sorry. Bit preemptive. MBK and Shoxy pull 2 back. We're into the 3-on-3. It's Shox up from Highway, looking to try and make all the difference, which he will. Drops the lone defender within the site, and now it's Rain and Guardian who can make all the difference as they come soaring in. Rain finds the first, and Guardian takes a second. It's all left onto MBK, the man who's played Squeaky every round, currently resides in main. It's unfamiliar territory as he looks to try and clutch this out in the 1v2. They have smokes, they have incendiaries to keep him at bay. And they're going to smoke it off, try and stick this. Damage being done. They're charming bullets back, just going to be sticking the defuse. Guardian's not a very good bullet shield right now. MBK goes charging in and there's no time left. It will be another 4 FaZe. Closest G2 have come to winning a round in a while. But that once again was with pistols.
They're very good at the pistols, but to be fair, Shoxy had the AK-47 there, and that can always be a very deadly prospect. Pushing into a bomb site player like Shoxy as well, you give him an inch, he's going to take a mile. He finds 2 kills with it, but G2, I was about to say, he had to win a gun round if they had won that one. That would have been 3 rounds, well, I guess including the pistol 2, that they've picked up with 4 spies. But here we go then, Nico back on the AWP. And Guardian, of course, he's towards the B bomb side. Looked like a decent nade, doesn't do a ton of damage, but another adjustment here for the CTs. They wanted to boost up a bit. He's flirting with the idea. Karrigan falls off A, leaving Nico alone on the A bomb side, but for now, they will not go for the boost. And we'll have a look at the setup at G2, like you said. Nico in the previous allowed themselves to get the maximum loss bonus, but once again, Kenny S with a head armor. That makes him quite vulnerable to the M4s. 1 bullet will take him down. And another default setup here. Kenny S holding middle, waiting for the smoke to dissipate and hopefully find the next pick, but it's Guardian. Was that through the smoke? It looked kind of dirty to me.
He just actually picked round into checkers to find the first. And Carrigan will be found over a middle. That's the equalizer. Apex, he'll take that in his stride as he's able to mop up Nico as well over on quad. So they've turned it around. Put us back in a 3-on-3. Bomb started to make its way through vents. Rain is just waiting in the corner, though, playing the close angle. Right now, they're expecting its Guardian. Primed and waiting over in B. Olof finds Apex in middle. 2v3. They're not going to check the corner. It allows Rain to farm up the first and the second. He drops both of those G2 players. They didn't check the angle, and you know, you were saying about how silly mistakes could show.
Yeah.
And that is definitely one of them.
Yeah, there's been a lot of angles missed, and did they have to drop another AWP? There was an AWP Rain could have picked up there, and I think got a bit excited with clutching the rounds, and had to buy one. But it's fine. He has plenty of money, and we're at the closing seconds anyway, so I guess it's not really a huge deal. But still, it's 11-2 for FaZe. They've shown up in spades here today, I have to say. G2 looking quite flat. They haven't won a single gun round. They've won the pistol, Harry, and one force buy. That's it. That's all they've got to...
They didn't even win
no, they didn't win the pistol.
Yeah,
they won the second round force buy.
yeah.
So they've won 2 force buys. That's it. Okay, whoa. Let's hope they can show up. Here we go. Kenny S with a shot to take down Carrigan.
Yeah, could that be the second win they needed? It's Kenny to open up. Close in middle. Olof, the man they haven't really been able to deal with, just waiting in the wings. For G2 to come walking on out. Guardian going to take some aggression over on B. Kenny still holding middle. This bomb waiting. MBK, guess where he is? Revolutionary strategy as he waits.
Don't flash your teammates.
Squeaky.
That's not going to work out for you.
Full flash down in mid. And, well, Kenny, I mean, he spied the man over on sandbags. Nico has to really try to survive here. Shocks comes in, rains death from above. And they're going to try this Vents play once again. Guardian this time is waiting for it. Misses the first shot. Damage done. Oh, Olof tries pushing out through the smoke there. Gets caught out in the open. And that's Kenny with 2. This could be what it takes for them to pick this round up. Rain. Last man left has to go huge, and he goes nowhere as he drops out on the A bomb site. Guardian's the last man left, 1v5. He's got himself the AWP though, and might just opt to save.
Yeah, I think he
I imagine he would.
Yeah, well, there it is. I don't mind that playing Olof just to state what happened there. So it's a 5-on-3 situation. He's isolated behind a smoke, and when you drop a smoke like that, a lot of terrorists will consider that to be like a force field, and no one's ever going to push it, right? So the idea is if he pushes through, like, would it be considered, I guess, a stupid play? Most people's because no one's going to be expecting that. So he tries to go through, get a decent timing there, but it's Kenny S. A little bit too aware that round and takes him down. 2 frags for him. He opened things up, of course, from that white box area. He took down Carrigan. And that's better. That's what we expect in the default rounds. Play like Kenny has to devour his opponents, just finding opening picks and managing to find those plays for his team. So there it is, the first gun round coming in for G2. It will be 11-3 overall, and they'll have plenty of money, of course, for the last round, considering they have all 5 players alive. But a similar story for FaZe as well. They should have no issues buying here. It's not amazing, and goes to show that every little mistake does count in CSGO. We discussed that Rain getting carried away with that big clutchy one, didn't pick up the secondary AWP, then he had to drop one for his teammate. They're still fine, but I think that they'll have to make some sacrifices here. Nico. Okay, it's okay. So it is Nico's without the incendiary. That's about as bad as it gets. Same story with Guardian as well, but they're fine. As we go to round number 15 here, back on that double AWP setup.
Yeah, it's an early boost in through middle. Kenny waiting for that Molotov to finish up, and then he can take this peek. Carrigan actually going to start to go aggressive. Olof's going to be found early, and now that leaves Carrigan high and dry down in mid. He's able to take the first. Ducking and weaving through the smoke, flashes himself out. Apex is wise to the fact and does manage to get the trade. Keeps the advantage in favor of G2. They got themselves the bomb as well. Got to fall back and pick that up early. Leaving Kenny to watch for anything out in mid. Guardian has rotated in. It's going to be the clash of the Titans here. The 2 players we're very excited to see meet, finally going to do so. Both of them locked down mid. Apex starting to rotate around with this bomb. MBK switch things up. This time he's in main. But they're just taking it slow.
It's getting very tense now. You can see the G2 are anticipating a reaction from the CT. That would be quite common. There it is. Trying to get some information there. Lucky to be alive. That's Guardian. He did pick towards middle with the AWP, but knows Kenny S has the advantage now. You can see all of G2 is holding up for any sort of aggressive plays, and there it is, another one. They are reading FaZe like a book right now, and they know FaZe are hungry for information. They can't hold off bomb sites. A full execution against 4 people. Rain has to find a pick there. He pulls back, ready to drop an incendiary to buy him a little bit more time. That could work out if he gets the timing right on this one. Could take him down to about 15 seconds.
Yeah, became off some Nico out on A, but now Guardian, he chimes in with one from heaven as he rains death down. They're going to rotate, but there's so little time left.
They should be just about fine, I think. No, they probably won't be.
Oh, it's going to be so close.
No, they can't do it.
Yeah, I did.
It's over. It's done. The ref's called it.
No, G2. No, you can try, but that's Apex. Good
Another
thinking.
round. They've done that. Well, that's a little bit unfortunate, I have to say. It will be 12-3, a sloppy game to say the best from G2. I'm not too impressed.
G2 is still on holiday at this point.
Yeah, absolutely. That's not great from them, but good showing from FaZe. We're going to take a quick break. Do not go anywhere. We'll go back for the second half. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. If you're just joining us, where have you been? The inaugural game for the new-looking FaZe lineup, and they're looking sharp, I have to say. G2, not so much. A few horrible rounds there, some unfortunate events, lots of rounds timed out. A few pistol victories as we expected, but the overall scoreline, 12-3 G2, as you mentioned. Still look like they're on holiday right now. FaZe, they seem like they've come out the trap hole. This is quite an exciting lineup, I have to say.
Yeah, I mean, right now things are looking fantastic. And you know, when you look over at G2, their biggest enemies range from anyone on FaZe to just the timer. You know, there's been a whole bunch of issues. Economy as well is probably up there on that list of things that are screwing them over. And it just hasn't looked great. It hasn't looked great from them.
Kenny S, towards the end of that game, he actually looked better, I have to say. It seemed like it was maybe starting to work out for him, but the problem was those force buys. Sure, they win a couple of them, it looks fantastic, but it does limit the economy tremendously as well. If you lose a few and you got your AWP force buy, and we didn't see Kenny really turn up with the AWP right towards the very end. Luckily, Guardian wasn't looking amazing until about mid-stage of the half either, but still 12-3, a very dominant performance, especially on the CT side of Cash as well. These days, it's quite common for T-Harps to actually run away with it. So we'll see what happens there. It's not looking good for G2, but if they can win the pistol, they're certainly the sort of team that can sink their teeth into this map. We'll see what happens. We are getting ready for the pistol here. I'll have a look at the buys, especially for the T side as well. 3 sets of armor so far, and Guardian's got the Desert Eagle, as we'll probably jump on board with him and see what he can do. Garrigan with the smoke and Molotov, and indeed Guardian heads towards middle, hungry for blood as he heads out here.
Yeah, looking to try and find the first, lining this up, misses the beginning shot, still tries to continue his tirade out in mid, but doesn't find anything on the back of it. Kenny still holding here. Start taking these peeks out, Guardian. Got a bit rusty with the Deeg immediately. He's actually going to lose his life there to the USP peek from Kenny. More work still left to do. Kenny doesn't get much done. It's Olof to go ahead and push out from B. Catches Apex, who've gone aggressive, and that's the B bomb site almost opened up. 2 players have rotated in, but no one within the site means one of these smokes is enough to lock it down. They'll block off CT. They drop Kenny. And now we're going to find ourselves in the 2v3. MBK and Body, the last 2 players remaining here for G2. And they're going to have to step up in a very big way. That bomb goes down, MBK. Oh, Nico. Execution. Olaf finishes that off. And FaZe They've got themselves a 13th. This round was pretty much, this whole game, sorry, is pretty much won or lost in the pistol for G2.
It was. They had to win that to stand in a real chance here. But Harry, they do get a force buy in the second round.
Yeah,
so
that's true.
Let's not get too carried away just yet. We know what they can do with the pistols. Pretty much all they've won this game as rounds with the pistols. So FaZe are aware of that. They bring 3 AKs here. They're not too worried about the utility usage. You want to make sure they have firepower. Actually, 4 rifles in total. Karrigan on the UMP. I think you just want to group up here, try and challenge the range at the beginning, and then go together as a simple formation. Smoke towards highway, perhaps. Just get in there and go for refrags. And by themselves, they want to give these frags away to the Deagles. But all of a sudden, 3 frags out of nowhere. It's Karrigan busting out the squeaky door and mowing his opponents down. It's going to be Apex and MBK left in an impossible situation. Bomb will be planted. And well done by FaZe. And there it is. The pistol prowess of MBK coming in once again, taking down Karrigan. Olaf Meister chimes in with another frag. And it's just going to be MBK. An interesting player this game, I have to say. He's cost his team a few rounds, I would say, with that backstabbing and not really being with them, but he's also won them a couple with great timings of finding picks in the back as well. So it's been a bit of a double-edged sword, I would say.
Yeah, it's weird, right? It feels like he's trying to make some sort of, you know, transition it into that lurk role, and it just goes to show you how hard it is to get it exactly right, you know, because there's a fine line between just baiting the hell out of your team for a couple of frags at the end or, you know, a successful lurk. And he's had a couple of rounds, like you said, where some promise has been shown, but I think there has been a good handful as well, where the frags he's got, while he does get a couple, are just so low impact that it doesn't matter.
Well, I think this is another force buy from G2, a little bit desperate at this point. They know they're 1 round away from match point, and it's going to be a frag, though. Back and forth towards the squeaky door area. Nico gets 1, but body in return, and this could be the end of the game. We're going to see a 4-on-3 situation. It's at the body. He's got the AK-47. Still towards squeaky door, though, and they'll plant on the other side of the bomb site, locking him out of the smoke as well. It's up to MBK. Not able to do anything with that situation. Now they know exactly where body is, and Apex coming from A main somehow finds Olaf Meister.
Yeah, now we're back into the 2-on-2. They know where body is, they know where Apex is, they have the information on both of these players.
Good Molotov.
Body's got a kit. That Molotov going to keep him at base. And, oh, but Body turns this back into a possibility. Rain in the 1v2. Waiting over at MBK, trying to hold the angle. They come pushing out. Body's gone down. Rain in the 1v1 versus Apex, and he's playing it around the smoke. Gonna come walking out. Rain didn't see him, but then he flicks onto him at the last minute and picks that up for FaZe. They're gonna go 15-3, and all on the back of 1 man there at the end. Gets the 2v1 and carries them through to match point here in the first map.
Well, well, well. A little bit exciting there, especially from Body, I have to say, but still, I enjoyed the round. That was quite cool. As we get into round number 4, has to be a force buy once again. It's not looking great. And we'll see what happens as we enter potentially the final round here, Harry. Let's see whether they can do anything about it. Doesn't look like it. 5-on-3. And it should be quite a simple procedure for FaZe.
Just a flat-out execution. MBK is the last man left once again in a 1v5. Can't get anything done, and that will be this new FaZe lineup to win out this match. A tremendous, overwhelming victory for them.
I've enjoyed myself, Harry. What do we think about this FaZe team for now? They look like they're coming out hot, but it's difficult to gauge too much, you know, because unfortunately G2, I have to say, they didn't really arrive there. No one with a superstar performance there. Kenny with a few decent rounds, Shoxy with some nice shots, NBK with a couple of decent flanks here and there, but generally they looked a little bit discombobulated and not really the G2 we're used to seeing here.
Yeah, you know, I mean, this is one that we were saying, it was, you know, like the hot match, you know, the one that we really wanted to be keeping on. If anything, it's more like the microwave meal match where, you know, we put it in, it's hot in places, but then other places are just stone cold.
It's like burn on the outside, but like frozen in the middle, right? It's like one of those classic things. But Harry, I've enjoyed myself. We've got another map coming up, but we're going to throw it to, we'll take a quick break and we'll allow the analysts to come in on this one.
What a debut from FaZe, the international lineup, the star-studded boys. They've come together and they've managed to take out G2 in very convincing fashion.
Yeah, I mean, a very, very impressive showing from the new lineup, but, you know, a very disappointing game, at least for me in general. FaZe wasn't really doing much on their city side. They were playing default mostly. They got early control of the economy. They could whip out those double ops on Guardian and on Nico, and from G2 on the other side of things, really just default, spread around the map, leave MBK to lurk towards the A bomb site until super late and try to find some picks, and we could see them 2 times even running out of time, wanting to go back towards that A bomb site where MBK was.
And only winning rounds off pistol force buys, right? And it's just like felt like a lot of the rounds where they were hitting a bomb site, they just lacked that punching power of getting that initial kill or 2 kills to be able to take the bomb site over, and therefore even force some kind of an after situation. Every single time, FaZe didn't have any issue being able to just hold their angles. They were not pressured by a lot of grenades or getting attacked from multiple angles simultaneously or anything like that, which is a little too easy for FaZe, in my opinion, to be honest.
I completely agree. I think when you're going up against a roster like the FaZe one, who you don't actually know a lot about, right? You don't know how they're going to approach the game. You need to have a good game plan in that sense. You just don't want to default because they're going to be random. You have no idea. You don't know how to isolate players. You don't know how to look for opening picks. And we saw that happening time and time again. Towards the end, Kenny finally got an idea with the AWP. He found Carrigan one round and then the following one all off in middle. But other than that, it was just lackluster.
Yeah, and I mean, those are the flaws of FaZe that were really shown at the major, right? The default playstyle on the CT side, and when they face some strong tactical teams, the likes of Big, Flipside, and Mousesports to an extent, who are really prepared for FaZe playing like that, you could see how it could be, you know, detrimental for FaZe alongside some poor individual performances. So this time around, obviously the big round where Nico survived in mid and the time ran out, that was a huge round because it was a reset round for G2. They just won the previous round. If they win it, you know, you wonder when they have control of the economy if things turn out differently. But all in all, a very disappointing performance from G2. You would really expect more from them on the T side. I think that's been together for quite a while now.
It's scary, right, for a team like G2 as well, who now Keo is available. He was on the FaZe roster. He's now one of the French players who is floating about and could get picked up. And if this team, you know, they're having internal issues, we don't know what's going on. But if they continue to lose, they lost to Envious in the New York qualifier, right? Yeah. You can see happening with these guys in the past. The French sides get very, I guess, they're happy to change rosters if things aren't working. They don't really work through their problems. So I wonder how this is going to affect G2.
I mean, there will come a point in time where they'll have to realize, unless things really start going the right direction, that there might be a change they need to make. But whether or not that point in time is now, I don't think so.
Early,
give them a little bit more time. Even though, you know, it's been a while since this lineup was established, right? And they have all the set of tools. They have an analyst in the team. They have a coach in the team.
A manager.
They have the whole system. They have everything they could have and ask for to be able to be successful. And they also have, you know, the kind of individuals and also the right players for the right roles, right? And you have those kind of set of tools, you'd expect them to be better. But I think for me, like in the big picture of G2, like what really I mentioned before in the game as well, is the fact that sometimes it feels like even though they have all the star-studded lineup and they have all the tools, they still kind of overcompensate a lot of the times. And you see them, like especially on a map like Cash, you'd see them rotate a lot of the times and just kind of not feel the game in the sense that you're supposed to.
Yeah, I feel that what I want to see from G2 is more set strats. More like, okay, from the beginning until the end of the round, we know what each player needs to do, and not so much just default, okay, let's try to feel out what the CTs are doing.
Kenny, go make a play.
You know, and then eventually, okay, let's try for Kenny to make a play or Shock, try to find a kill. If that doesn't happen, we're in a 4v5. We have no significant map control, maybe some map information, and that's it.
Well, one of their playmaker, Apex, had like 1 frag, and that was, he obviously picked up a few more towards the end of the half, but early on he's the entry fragger, right? And we always talk about entry fraggers. It's a very sporadic position because on set executes or set pieces, you're the guy running in drawing fire, and most likely you're going to die. But if you can find good timings and good spacings, you can maybe slip past with a good flash that first line of defense, find yourself pushed in ready to grab a couple of kills. It's just very difficult. It's always going to be different every matchup. They might be ready for you, and him not having a good game kind of shows on the T side no one was having any flair finding openings.
It goes both ways. So I mean, I mean, obviously entry fragger needs to have a game where he delivers. He needs to be the punching power that I mentioned previously, but at the same time, if the team is not having the right like timing on things, if not everything else is not on point around him, then you'll see entry fragger struggle too.
I think the problem is default playstyle on the CT side and double up is defeated by set executes and a more explosive playstyle. You don't beat that type of a defense with playing your own default and trying to find picks, especially against a team like FaZe that has so much individual firepower right now. You're going to lose those duels more often than not because you can't know for sure where the CT is going to be played. So I just feel that the approach from G2 was not correct.
Yeah, so we're going to see if they can bounce back on Overpass on map 2 after the break. Nice throw there for the producer. Really threw him under the bus. I didn't know this hosting stuff. It's not easy.